The moment Metro Exodus hooked me occurred relatively early on in my playthrough. I was exploring the first open world hub of the Volga, preparing to raid a bandit camp. From a safe distance, I scanned the area with my binoculars, counting enemies and planning my approach. Yet suddenly, chaos erupted. Gunfire broke out without warning. Again, I pulled out my binoculars, wondering if I'd been spotted, but the commotion wasn't directed at me. Something else had set them off. Scanning the environment, I spotted a group of mutants attacking the encampment. The bandits, caught off guard, scrambled to respond. One mutant was gunned down almost instantly, while another took a lap around the camp before standing perfectly still, practically begging to be shot. It wasn't the most polished display of AI behavior, but in those few seconds of chaos, I was captivated. Despite the mutants' awkward scripting, in that moment, I realized something important. The world of Metro Exodus wasn't just immersive, it was alive in ways that I hadn't anticipated. Moments like this are what make Metro Exodus stand out. From dynamic encounters to its meticulous survival mechanics, every element of the game works together to draw you into the world with realistic ecosystems and gameplay mechanics that are grounded firmly within the setting. The game establishes a sense of authenticity. The semi-open world hubs create encounters that feel organic, ensuring that no two playthroughs unfold in the same way. Yet, what truly sets Metro Exodus apart is its commitment to crafting a world that feels consistent and believable. Oftentimes, people assume that a game can only be immersive if it mirrors reality in some way. Yet in my eyes, the most important factor in establishing this feeling is consistency within the world itself. When all these elements align, immersion is bound to happen. In this video, I want to cover a few standout mechanics that I noticed during my time with the game that truly make the world feel alive. The first and most notable aspect of immersion is the focus on interfaces that exist entirely within the world. In Metro Exodus, traditional menu screens have been all but eliminated. Instead, every action has been turned into a diegetic interface. RTM's map is grounded in the game world as a physical object. When crafting, RTM will kneel down and sling his backpack off his shoulder. Even basic HUD elements, like waypoints and the time remaining on your gas mask filter, are integrated into the game world, which are displayed on RTM's wristwatch. What's more, the game doesn't pause around you when you're using these objects. In fact, it's in these moments when you're at your most vulnerable, you can still be spotted or killed. And this design creates a constant sense of tension, forcing you to think carefully about when and where to interact with these mechanics, prioritizing foresight and preparation, and rewarding players who engage thoughtfully with the game's scavenging systems. Then, there are the little details that add depth to the world. The condition of RTM's gas mask is visually apparent through cracks, dirt, or blood, prompting you to repair or clean it manually. The flashlight and night vision goggles require a physical hand crank to recharge. Even your weapons get progressively dirtier, requiring regular cleanings to prevent them from jamming. What's impressive is that all of these status indicators are conveyed primarily through environmental cues, encouraging players to remain observant and proactive without relying on external notifications or HUD elements. Interestingly enough, I even noticed what appeared to be a well-realized ecosystem within these open-world hubs. Take the Volga, where small irradiated critters scurry about and burrow underground when they sense danger. Scavenger creatures like the Lurker typically avoid confrontation unless provoked. They'll often let the player pass without issue, and if a fight turns against them, they'll flee the area rather than continue a losing battle. Animals like the Watchmen stay grouped in packs, using their numbers to overwhelm the player with sheer force. And predators, like the Demon, can be found hibernating underneath bridges during the day. This ecosystem doesn't just exist in isolation, it actively interacts with itself in unexpected ways. For instance, while out scavenging for supplies, I happened upon an environmental anomaly which absolutely taxed a group of unsuspecting lurkers. The open worlds aren't the only thing that feel dynamic in Metro Exodus. The game actually will react to the player in ways that make your choices feel important. If you approach certain NPCs with your weapon drawn, they may react to your perceived aggression.
Oh, well, hello, heretic. Did you come to tempt the faithful or to terrorize us with your gun?
In combat, your actions can directly affect the enemy morale, eliminate the majority of a bandit camp, and the remaining soldiers might choose to surrender rather than fight you to the death. Choose to rescue a hostage, and you may find your kindness rewarded. In one instance, I freed a hostage who provided me with the key to access valuable equipment, including night vision goggles. With such a minimal HUD interface, the world feels much more unpredictable. For example, when wandering through the Volga, I stumbled upon a group of cultists performing a ritual to banish an electric anomaly, and later that night, while rowing to an isolated shack in search of supplies, I discovered something even stranger. Inside, I found a number of corpses scattered about, and suddenly, ghostly figures began to appear, which left me wondering about the story of what had happened there. These instances were not marked on my map or highlighted by an icon. They were completely unexpected, and this feeling of organic discovery drew me into the world. In Metro Exodus, you never have a comfortable supply of ammo or equipment. Crafting becomes a constant balancing act, forcing you to make tough decisions. Do you use your limited resources to craft more ammo, or do you prioritize that extra medkit? Likewise, your weapon and kit selection is limited by what you choose to carry, and in the field, you cannot change weapons or attachments freely, with the only ammunition you can craft being the steel bullets for your gas-powered rifle. These restrictions add a degree of strategy for how you prepare for encounters. I vividly recall one instance where I found myself in the depths of an underground facility surrounded by light-averse mutants, and I had completely run out of shotgun ammo, the most effective weapon against them, after dismantling the majority of my ammo to craft other vital equipment. With no way to resupply, I was forced to rely entirely on my flashlight to keep the mutants at bay, and my remaining explosives to clear a path forward. It was in this moment that I felt truly punished for my lack of preparation, and this turned what would have been a pretty easy fight in hindsight into one of the most difficult and memorable sections of the game. I think one of the biggest weaknesses of Metro Exodus, and its immersion potential, is the overall intelligence of the AI. For example, after rescuing Anna in the Volga and leaving the group, I ran into a pack of mutants. Naturally, I ran back to the group for some form of help, but instead of reacting to these mutants standing 15 feet away, they just continued their conversation as if nothing was happening. Meanwhile, the mutants seemed to forget their pursuit entirely, casually walking away. Human enemies, unfortunately, don't fare much better. Even on the hardest difficulty, I found it remarkably easy to sneak through the majority of encounters, and this simplicity somewhat nullifies the need for some of the game's gadgets, like the night vision goggles or the day and night stealth mechanic, which could have added an extra layer of strategy if the AI were more alert or responsive. But where the AI lacks intelligence, it compensates with near superhuman marksmanship. At times, it's downright frustrating when an enemy lasers you with pinpoint accuracy from thousands of feet away, even while you're just barely peeking out from cover with only the tip of your head exposed. That said, every now and then, the AI will surprise you. Occasionally, they employed flanking tactics or tossed a grenade at me just when I thought I was safe and covered. And there was one moment in particular when I was in the Caspian fighting bandits and attempted to throw a can so an enemy would walk out into the open for an easy kill. And to my surprise, he actually responded in a realistic way. That was amazing. But moments like this are rare. Overall, I'd say this is Metro Exodus's weakest aspect. While the AI doesn't ruin the experience, it's a missed opportunity to push the game's immersion and tension even further. These AI quirks stand out in contrast to the game's otherwise meticulous design, leaving room for improvement in how strategy and player interactions are handled. Metro Exodus is an incredibly immersive experience. With the well-implemented open-world hubs, seamless integration of mechanics, and a dynamic ecosystem which makes the moment-to-moment feel grounded and engaging. Add to that solid and enjoyable gunplay, and the game delivered plenty of memorable encounters. Despite its occasional missteps with AI, Metro Exodus succeeds where it truly matters, creating a world that feels alive, unpredictable, and worth exploring. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you are one of the few who are still here at the end, I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I think it helps the algorithm in some way. Next up, I'll be diving into the NPCs of Watch Dogs 2 or maybe even Vinland Saga, so stay tuned.